Right, I'm back with Sam from Emperor's Path. We're going to have another game, and this time it's Necrons versus Demons. Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, yes, another game with Sam from Emperor's Path. Thanks, Sam, for coming down again.
Thanks for inviting me.
Really can't wait for this game. And yeah, something a bit different from the last one.
Yeah.
We've got your Khorne Daemons.
Yeah.
And I am playing my Necrons, in particular my Flayed One army. And I'm introducing Sam to ITC, so we're going to play an ITC mission, 1850 points. My Flayed One list is actually a 2,000 point army, so I've had to dumb it down slightly, which I'm looking forward to actually finding out. So my Wraiths, usually I take them in 6s, I've got 4s. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work in conjunction with the army. And Sam's army, which we're going to show you in a second, looks pretty scary because there's a lot of power weapons there, which is going to nullify my Feel No Pain, or my RP basically. Yeah. So yeah, interested. You've obviously had a look at my army. What do you think of it?
Yeah, it's different from a normal traditional. You don't do anything by normal standards, do you, Nick? It's different from the normal standard Necron army that you'd see. I really like the amount of flayed ones that you've got in the army, and there's a few models that you don't often see in bat reps featuring Necron. So I'm really excited to face it because it looks like it's going to be fun. Okay, well, let's have a look at the armies then. Okay, so first of all, let's have a look at Sam's Khorne Demon army. Yeah. Okay, so today I'm going to be running the Demonic Incursion Force Org, which is basically like the Necron Decurion. Leading up as my core for the army, I'm taking the Murder Horde formation, which has got a Herald with Agrath, King of Blades, and a lesser demonic reward on him. Then I have got 4 units of 10 Bloodletters. 2 of the units are maxed out with musicians, standard bearers, and then the squad leaders have all got lesser rewards as well. And then 2 units are completely blank. Then there are 4 units of 5 Fleshhounds, and that fills up that core force org there. Then for my auxiliary, I'm taking Karanak, the Fleshhound, the triple-headed one. So those who have seen any of my videos previously know that I really don't like the model, so he is substituted here with the Age of Sigmar Hellbrutey looking thing. Then for my HQ leader selection, I've got Be'lakor, who will also be my warlord for today. He's a little bit of a psychic freak, and it's been a long time since I've run some psychic in my army, so it'll take a little bit of getting used to. And then I have got a Bloodthirster of Infinite Rage, and he has got a greater demonic reward and an exalted demonic reward on him as well. And that is my 1850 points.
Okay, thanks, Sam. Yeah, so it looks awesome, this army. I'll give you some close-ups in a second. Lots of models and some big scary ones in there as well. Right, okay, so let's have a look at my army. Right, okay, so here is my Flayed One Decurion list. As you can see, there's a lot of Flayed ones. So, starting up with the HQ unit in the Reclamation Legion, I have an Overlord, and he's got a Warsai, and he's accompanied by 5 Immortals, 2 squads of 10 Warriors, and then 3 Tomb Blades with Looms and Veins. Then I have 6 units of 10 Flayed Ones as my auxiliary units, and then right at the back there, 2 Canoptic Harvests. There's 4 Wraiths in each with Whip Coils, 3 basic Scarabs, and of course a Tomb Spider. At the back there, those extra Scarab bases are just for spawning out, which hopefully I'll get a few turns off of spawning those out. And that is my 1850 point list. Right, here we are ready to go. I have my new piece of terrain out, the first time I've used it, and my Necrons are truly making good use of it. Okay, so we rolled off the mission. We're playing the ITC mission, the Scouring. So it's 4 points for the Scouring primary mission. Then we've got a modified Maelstrom mission, and then we have 3 tertiary objectives, which are Slay the Warlord, Line Breaker, and Big Game Hunter, which in this one, in ITC, is whoever kills the unit with the most amount of points in. Yes. Okay, so I have deployed. I have my Overlord here with the Immortals and Warriors, some more Warriors here. Then I've got one formation, Chronaptic formation there, one formation here. Then the Tomb Blades at the back. I've infiltrated all of the flayed ones, as you can see, all over the place. Objective wise, I have one objective here. This is worth 1 point. We've got a 2-point objective here, which Sam placed, and Sam also places 3-point objective here. I placed my 2-point objective in the middle of the building there, my 3-point objective down in Sam's deployment zone, and is that all of them?
There's one there.
One there? Okay, that is, oh yeah, it's your home objective, so that's 1-point objective just over there. Sam has deployed his whole army right across, 24 inches up, and after I infiltrated all of my flayed ones, he decided not to scout, which is quite interesting. Now I did win the roll-off, and I put Sam in first. Rightly or wrongly, I'm not sure. I usually go first, but with the ITC mission I'm going to try and see if it's beneficial to go second, so we will find out if that pays off or not. Hopefully it will. There's not too much shooting over the other side of the table there. Some psychic powers though, of course. Okay, so Sam, do you want to try and seize the initiative?
I'm going first anyway, aren't I?
Okay then, Nick. Nick, do you want to try and seize the initiative? No. Okay, here we go then. So, it's going to be Chaos Demons, turn 1. Okay, so that was turn 1. Scary stuff, I have to say. So, I found out the reason why Sam didn't scout was because he wanted to try and get first turn assault off. And that was quite scary stuff. So, everything moved forward. The hound things came up here, managed to get into assault with my flayed ones. These moved and ran just down the flank. This moved into the building, ready to assault the flayed ones. And Be'lakor is in the air. The Demon Prince, of course, wasn't. And then the Bloodletters moved and ran 6 inches as well, moving on up. So the target was flayed ones, it would seem. A few psychic powers went off. I did lose 1 immortal from some sort of psychic power. What was that?
Oh, it was the Warp Storm, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, the Warp Storm. Oh yeah, the Warp Storm went off, and basically rolled a dice, and any 6s I got hit, and only 1 casualty, which was an immortal. And then in the psychic phase, I got horrified over here, taking me down to leadership 11. I did try to do psychic shriek, but I managed to deny that one, and no other powers went off. And then we went into the assault phase. So starting over on the left, these Khorne dogs came in, killed 3 flayed ones, and I managed to kill 2 dogs in return. And then that was the end of the assault. Obviously the Fearless did their dynamic instability test, but no extra wounds were taken. Then we went to the big guy here, striking first, Hammer Wrath attacks, did nothing. I then attacked back with all of my dice. I managed to get 1 wound off of him, and then I lost 4 flayed ones. He didn't hit particularly well, so I managed to survive and not run away as well, which was extra useful. So I just locked him in combat there, with 1 wound gone on the big guy. Then over here I did slightly better. My flayed ones just wiping out the dogs before they could even strike, having moved through the cover there. Then consolidated just on the table edge there, heading towards the forest, and potentially an objective which is right down the other end of the table. Possibly just trying to bait Sam to stop coming forward. Okay, so that was turn 1 for the demons. We're going to now move on to turn 1 for Necrons. Right, okay, so that was Necron's turn 1. Interesting turn. I rolled for my objective. Incidentally, Sam had his Maelstrom objectives, and he had to kill 2 units. And actual fact, I think you've actually failed to do that, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, failed to do that one. Which he'll be scoring that at the beginning of his turn 2. My objectives were to get objective number 1 and number 3. I've already got number 1 just here, so I moved my flayed ones back onto this objective 3. So unless Sam sneakily manages to claim those, hopefully I'll get those. Movement wise, I moved the tomb blades here, took a pop shot at those hounds. I managed to take 1 wound off of the front hound. Gave RP to my wraiths, generated a scarab swarm. I moved these backwards slightly concerned of being assaulted by those hounds there. Over here, we went into close combat and I managed to kill all of the hounds, consolidated 3 inches just over towards those hounds there. I took 1 of the wraith units into the... trying to hold him up. I felt I needed a fearless unit in there. I know he's got D, but fearless, I mean those flayed ones just weren't going to survive by themselves. And then over this side I moved the flayed ones and the wraiths up in between the Khorne bloodletters and also Bedicor. I took some pop shots at Bedicor, thought if I ground him maybe I could assault. I did manage to get a few wounds, but he saved everything with his 2+ jinx save. So that was that. So in the end I assaulted with just the wraiths into the bloodletters, that 3+, that AP3 weapon, scaring me a little with my flayed one, so I only put the wraiths in and I managed to kill 2 of the bloodletters. No wounds were taken back, and then Sam rolled a double 6 on his instability. It was a re-roll, and on the re-roll rolled a double 6. The whole unit was actually wiped out. These guys moved and ran only 1 inch though, heading towards Sam's deployment zone. And that was my turn 1. So, oh no, big guy, yes. So then we went into the assault. I did nothing and Sam did nothing. So we were just locked in combat in that building, just looking pretty. Right, okay, so we're going to have a go now. It'll be Sam's turn 2 coming up. Okay, so turn 2 for the demons. The turn started off really well with a double 6 on the chart, and he managed to summon a group of bloodletters. It could have been bigger, it's a bit unlucky with the quantity, but still in my deployment zone, causing me a few troubles. Sam also rolled his objectives. He got to destroy an enemy unit and to hold objective 1. Because of his demon special rule from the Decurion, he's already holding that one even though he's not there. So I've got to get to that objective to take control of it basically. Okay, so movement. So Sam very kindly took my bait and my flayed ones and he brought the Khorne hound things down here. I was very pleased to see that. I thought he was going to come over here to this little grouplet, but he took the bait, went into the flayed ones, and as you can see I managed to kill them outright. So very useful little assault there. Then consolidated 3 inches up towards this little grouplet. So the other squad of hounds with this special character, what's his name?
Karanak.
Karanak. He assaulted here into the wraiths. The bloodthirster not doing enough damage for Sam, so multi-assault happening there. And yeah, I lost 1 wound on a wraith from Karanak, and that was all. The bloodthirster lost another wound from the flayed ones. And the wraith attacked the little dog things there, managed to kill a couple of them off. So we're just locked in combat still there. Bedicor still in the air, flew 12 inches forward, cast a load of psychic powers, in particular onto my unit of wraiths. Sam was a bit scared of them, I think. I've got Terrify, so -1 leadership, and Hallucination, which basically made me -1 all my other stats as well. He then charged in the bloodletters. I did lose a wraith, and then I killed a couple of bloodletters, enough to make Sam take a leadership check. He rolled an 11, re-rolled it, and what did you roll, Sam?
I rolled another double 6.
Another whole unit wiped out. That's 3 double 6s Sam's rolled so far. And then over here the other squad of bloodletters, they were from reserve. I forgot to say that Sam had 2 squads of bloodletters in reserve. There's still another one to come. This one came down there and ran, trying to cover that objective just at the back there. And that was the entirety of Sam's turn 2. So now we're going to move on to Necron's turn 2. Let's see what I can do. Okay, so Necron's turn 2. Drew my Maelstrom point, and I've got exactly the same as the previous turn, so hold objective 1 and 3, which I'm at this moment in time nicely sitting on. See anything changes there. So target priority for me was these bloodletters that were here. So first of all I gave RP to my 2 harvests. Of course the Wraith's well out of range of that now. Also generated another Scarab Swarm, so I've got 5 in each now, so that's looking quite nice. I then shot the Tomb Blades in, killed a couple of them, and then rapid fired these guys and killed the rest of them. So got rid of that unit quite nicely. This unit, or both of these units here, declined to shoot. The only thing in range was Be'lakor, and I didn't want to be grounding him so that he could assault next turn, so I just left him flying in the air. These Flayed ones here moved up behind the building, and potentially I think probably the only bad roll I've had so far in the game. I rolled a double 1 for their assault range, so they couldn't assault. Over here the Flayed ones that were on this piece of terrain just moved and ran forward, making their way to either this objective or possibly line breaker for the end of the game. I then put that unit of Wraiths and also that unit of Flayed ones into the bloodletters that were there. My Wraiths were down in stats because of the psychic powers. However, with a combination of all those attacks, I managed to take all of the bloodletters off, consolidated onto that objective as well. So to be fair, it's looking pretty good for me. There are some reserves, so let's see what happens. Oh no, let's go back to this. I always forget this assault, the big assault. Okay, so the big assault. I managed to take 2 wounds off, and it's now floating in the air on 1 wound. So the Flayed one's doing a lot of the damage, however I did put the Wraiths into attacking them this time, so that left me being attacked from behind here. They did nothing. However, the D weapon did do something this time, and I lost 3 of my Wraiths. Did lose combat. The Flayed ones held fast with a double 1. Very useful. So we're just locked in combat there. Okay, so we're going to move on now to turn 3 for the Demons. Okay, so Khorne turn 3. So what happened? Well, the reserves failed to come on. The bloodletters staying in reserve. The Be'lakor guy, he stayed in the air. He's just there on the edge trying to get a good bubble for his psychic powers. He did his psychic powers. He managed to get invisibility off onto the Bloodthirster. And then he terrified me here. -1 leadership, and then he did Psychic Scream. I tried to deny Psychic Scream, failed, and Sam rolled 15 on the leadership thing. I ended up losing 3 immortals, so just the Overlord with an immortal left in that unit. I did my leadership checks, and I was fine. We then went over into the assault here. My Wraith and the other guy there did no damage. The Flayed ones, however, even though the guy was invisible, managed to strip 3 wounds off of the 1 wound that was left, and yeah, killed him. So we're just locked in combat there. The big Bloodthirster gone, even though he's invisible this time. Right, okay, so Sam did manage to get 1 point for holding that objective there. His other one was to kill someone. No, your new objectives are to kill 2 units. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on now to Necron turn 3. Okay, so my turn 3. Be'lakor in the air. I decided it was about time I tried to do something with him. So I brought as many units as I could into assault range. These Scarabs here, which I gave Shred to. Those Scarabs there, both of the Flayed one units came up. My intention to try and ground him, maybe put off some sort of assault. So I shot everything, all of my guns through. Any wounds that did go through was saved with a 2+ Jink, so that was that. These Flayed ones here that failed their assault range last time got into assault this time, and as you can see, all of the units there managed to take out what was remaining of the demons. I did lose 1 Flayed one there just in the assault. And that's the end of the game. Sam does have another unit of Bloodletters in reserve and just the better core there, so he has conceded. So that is the end of the game. We'll just have a quick chat about the game. Right, there you go. So that is the game all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that. I have to say, I was very scared at the beginning of that game. Your army was pretty scary how quick it was across the table.
Yeah.
And especially when I found out that you didn't scout so that you could assault me first turn. I thought, oh dear, I've made a mistake potentially there. As it was, obviously you didn't quite get the best dice rolls there.
I tell you what, it's times like that when I really regret that neither of us filmed the dice rolls, because filming those demonic instability tests would have just been like, oh. Yeah,
the reactions were quite funny, weren't they?
I think they were handled by both of us quite well.
Yeah. So no, it's a lot of fun, and from my point of view, very happy how the army performed. Always surprises me, to be fair, especially like when I'm facing an army which is also a close combat army, and with a loss of power weapons in it. Those Bloodletter power weapons really scared my Flayed ones, taking away their RP roll.
Yes.
As it was, I just about had enough wraiths. As I said, usually I have 6 wraiths in each unit, but just 4. But it was just about enough to do what they needed to do. In particular with the Bloodletters, although obviously you lost a few from the double 6s, they still coped quite well in that smaller number, which was good to see. Yeah. So how do you think maybe you could played it a bit different, possibly?
I don't know. I don't know what I'd do differently. I've already said that I feel like I need to improve my. You said quite fairly off camera about how Bellacore is 350 points and he doesn't do much. Or at least he wasn't earning his points, that's for sure.
No, yeah. I felt almost like you were handicapped there a bit, although obviously he had his psychic powers that he could do.
Yeah.
From my point of view, with him flying around in the air, I was quite happy to see that.
Yeah.
If you'd landed him, obviously, yes, I potentially could have done a lot of damage on him.
Yeah.
But it would have been a lot more scary to me. And in the air, I could just ignore him, and it was like 350 points that I was just ignoring, basically. And yeah, it did a few psychic powers which were okay, but nothing too devastating that I couldn't cope with.
No.
So, yeah. How about the ITC mission? What do you think of that?
It's very different. It's something that I think it would take a little bit of getting used to, but it's fun. I can't deny that.
Did you feel that even though you sort of had the underhand at the beginning, that with the mission, do you think that made a difference in your thinking that, well, actually maybe I could like get 4 points from the Maelstrom or something?
To a certain extent, yeah. The thing I sort of had in my head was they're a Khorne army. I shouldn't find it difficult to destroy a unit in close combat, which is why I went for the destroy units in close combat ones.
Yeah.
But
now you've discovered that Necrons are pretty resilient.
Yeah, and especially if Fleshhounds are usually very good at holding units up and not dying. However, this game, they were holding you up, but they were also dying quite quickly.
Yeah, as soon as your first charge went off. Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
It's probably worth noticing, in case nobody picked it up, I actually killed 0 units in full in that entire game.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking maybe, what about if you'd held some units back, and as against the ethos of the army, but held them back, maybe trying to keep some objectives, chosen the objective cards rather than killing unit cards.
Yeah, that would have been probably better. In hindsight, I should have stayed back, and then your shooting stuff would have been out of range, and then all your stuff could have come to me, and I could have piled in as much as I possibly could.
Yeah, but then on the other side of the coin, you obviously get the advantages for furious charge, etc.
Yeah.
So you know it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I have really enjoyed was the Warp Storm table. For me, was very good.
Yeah.
Enjoyable. Obviously, getting that free unit of Bloodletters, when you've got a free unit, you tend to not care so much about it. So if I put it there and you killed it, it was okay. And then the ones that died over here they just died.
Yeah.
There's not much I could do about them.
And then how about the big guy, Bloodthirster?
I genuinely feel a little bit let down by Steve. I imagined that he could have taken out the Flayed ones or the Wraiths quickly, but Yeah, with the free up invuln on the wraiths, maybe.
I think I did right there sending the wraiths in.
Yeah.
Because that flayed one unit, I don't think would have survived. To be fair.
No.
Yeah.
I think because my issue was, right, I need to get rid of these wraiths. Right, I need to get the 6s to ignore the invuln save, and then it's like, well, actually, I should have just gone for the flayed ones, and I probably would have wiped the unit out.
The flayed ones are the ones that actually hurt you, just sheer number of attacks. And interestingly, when you were invisible, although you only had 1 wound left, I actually did 3 wounds, didn't I?
Yes.
3 failed saves from the flayed ones whilst invisible. So yeah, really interesting.
Yeah. Just goes to show, invisibility does not win you games. Likewise, you shouldn't be using it all the time.
No, exactly. Well, things are obviously going to change up. We're going to be doing 8th edition soon.
Yeah.
And Sam and I are looking forward to playing some 8th edition games at some point as well.
Yeah, we've got a regular slot booked in, haven't we?
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot more battles of me coming over here. And
yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. So I think that's just about it. So yeah, please like, comment, and share. Don't forget to head on over to Sam's channel, The Emperor's Path, and give him a sub as well. He'll be having a battle report on his channel from his side of the table as such, so yeah, check that out. Press the bell button next to the subscribe button so you can keep up to date with the wonders of Warhammer 40k, and I'll see you in the next video.